6 months ago, Claire made a promise to her family and to herself. The promise was she'd quit smoking by the time her next birthday came around. And already she's feeling better. She has more stamina, more energy, and her lungs are stronger than ever before.
Welcome back. Traditional native foods are determined by where you live. Outside Indians might consider beans and squash and venison their native food, while interior Athabascans love moose and consider that part of their native food, traditional food diet. So why did the people, the Tlinkits of Sciatica, settle down and live where they did?
Sitka, back a long time ago, was set here because of heron eggs and king salmon and halibut and fish creeks and seaweed, and that was our livelihood. That was what we lived off of. They settled here because of that. We still get seal. We especially still get deer and seaweed and clams and fish, all sorts of fish. And heron eggs is one of the big things that we still take, because here in Sitka Sound, heron eggs is still available.
The herring spawn normally comes to Sitka every March. It's an important time for our people. It begins what I'm told is called our Tlingit calendar, our calendar of harvest. My great-grandpa tells me that first the herring would come and spawn, and then the salmon would come. And then after the salmon spawned, at the mouths of the river would be waiting the crab, and then would come the halibut. And then the halibut would flip their tails, and it would send the seaweed ashore to be harvested. It's the beginning of our year, it's the beginning of our harvest. It's a sacred time, it's a special time of gathering and celebration. We're very proud to have this rock here. Originally, this was part of the beach, just across the street before this building here was built and the parking lot put in. This is what we call the herring rock. It's sacred to the Kotzebue people, for there are great stories of its power and ability to bring the herring here each year for our spawn.
The mystical story was that there was a Kotzebue woman that was there on that rock, and she had very long hair, and she fell asleep, and when she woke up, the herring had laid their eggs in her hair, so we call that a mystical story of the herring rock. And the Kotzebue ladies are sometimes called Kiksha.
It's legends like this that tell the stories of the Tlingit people of Sitka, Alaska. Legends of the animals, legends of the land. For thousands of years, the Tlingit people have respected the land, and in turn, the land has respected the people, providing a bounty of natural resources for the Indian people who dwell here. From the waters that bring the fish, seal, seaweed, and herring, to the land that provides the other necessities for survival, the Tlingit people of Sitka have been blessed over the years.
One of the things about harvesting, it's always done with the greatest respect for the animal that you take. It's not mistreated, it's not talked about, it's taken and it's well cared for, clean. It has to be that way because that's the way we were taught. And later on in life I learned that it's out of respect for the animal that gave his life to us, for our food.
Even today, when we go out with this modern technology and modern boats and stuff like that, we still have a lot of respect for nature because we feel like without that respect, it's very possible we're not going to be very successful.
All our subsistence gathering was right here around Sitka in the days before the Russians. A lot of our subsistence gathering was right here. Halibut. You've heard about those shingled halibut hooks? Because the halibut would come in there and bite. See, the reason why I say it's more deadly than a circle hook is once he gets in there, that's it. Can't get away. There were also a lot of seal around here. Seal, fur seal, and sea otters. Lots of clams, cockles, sea urchins, yeah. Because in the springtime, when you break the sea urchins open, they get the eggs out. Among all those islands out there, there's seagull eggs rocks. We gathered seagull eggs. Whenever it seemed like we gathered too much, it really isn't enough. Because there was a way that we could preserve our food, and one of them was in seal oil.
Day 3 of the trade fair was a day to reflect back on the old days when hundreds of Inupiat people would journey to the Kotzebue region and come together for trade and commerce. It was also a time to celebrate another year, another successful season, and to celebrate being Inupiat. Even Pastor Wilford Lane got up and showed his heritage with pride.
The Kotzebue elders suggested to the Wellness Planning Committee to revive or have the trade fair as part of our wellness program to show that by leading a well life you can be athletically good to do this games of skill and endurance. It would show that you can gather the food needed for the potluck and the feast tonight, and of course the Eskimo dancing, you know. So basically, the wellness message that we want to send and tell about is the Inupiat Ilskasset values that the Nana region has put together. There's 18 values that we use to lead a good life.
These values are knowledge of language, knowledge of family tree, sharing, humility, respect for others, love for children, cooperation, hard work, respect for elders,
respect for nature, avoid conflict, family roles, humor, spirituality, domestic skills, hunter success, responsibility to tribe. It's through understanding and practicing these values that the Inupiat people have kept their culture alive and well into the 21st century. Elder Claude Wilson Jr. recalls the early days of the trade fair and the great distances that people traveled to be part of this Inupiat celebration.
Hunters from all the way to Unalakleet, Sailing Point, and Nuchek, Nuchek, they come to Kotzebue when they meet together. Everybody feast, all kinds of food, trade, rope, anything, sealskins, anything they trade for. The ones come down from Silvik, Tununak, Kotzebue, Kayan, they all trade for those seal pork, anything for those seal hunters.
When we were growing up, we've heard that, and I noticed some people that went come down with what they've got from upriver or some from other places, not only from upriver. They come down for what they've got, what the people don't have down here. Like some people up there dried some fish and dried meat and whatever, like from caribou sinews and caribou skins, or some other kind of skins that they have up there that they gathered in the winter time, some, and spring and in summertime, that they had gathered to bring and trade for what they have down here, mainly like seal oil, ugruk oil, or whatever oil they've got.
Typically in the past, people used to come here and barter and trade goods like trade seal meat or seal oil from the coast with some of the inland berries or dried fish. So people used to come and trade beads and clothing and food, and it's evolved to where there's a lot more activities, more of a Western type of activities, but the friendship, the kinship, the being together, the bartering, the celebration is still here. But things change. You know, we're doing different things. Instead of using skin kayaks like we used to for competitions, now, you know, we buy fiberglass or plastic from Walmart. But there's the change with some of the tools that we're using. But the gathering and the people getting together is still the same.
Although the youth attending the trade fair today do not share the same memories as their elders, they do share the same values. This was easily noticeable as Pauline Ney, who was crowned Miss Arctic Circle, and Chelsea Matthews, Miss Teen Arctic Circle, went out of their way to help with the events and make sure that the people attending the trade fair were taken care of.
I just did whatever had to be done. I told a lady who was really generous to buy it, the water and the cups, and I just distributed all the water and the cups with her, and with Miss Teen helped. So we just gave out water, and I bought some of my aunts and tatas some donuts and coffee on the side of that.
For the past few days, I've been helping with the trade fair. In any way I can, whether it be help the MC or today I helped serve food. I kept score for the 1-foot high kick for both men and women, and I kept the time for the kayak race.
Thank you very much, everybody. In loving memory of my father, Lawrence Kayak.
In the Eskimo dance competition, Barrow's Nuvukmiak dancers would take home the banner.
We got first place. We got that banner, first place.
The trade fair was truly an event that took the participation of the entire community to be a success. And what better way to end the trade fair than to have all the drummers and dancers join together in song and dance. In a thunderous explosion, the drums of several tribes joined together to create a sound that will never be forgotten as elders and youth alike danced and sang the songs of their ancestors.
Hey, big boy.
Joe Garnie has been running sled dogs for most of his life.
Hey, Wrecker. What's going on, big boy? Feeling pretty good, are you? My earliest memory is of riding in the dog sled, and I can't remember if I was even able to walk then, so I've been riding with dogs since I can remember. Hey, girl. Oh! Yeah, I have 36 dogs. I brought a dozen with me here. Whoa, big boy, take it easy now.
In his mission to promote good health and sobriety, he's joined forces with the Norton Sound Health Corporation. He and the camp staff are traveling to villages within Norton Sound as part of a campaign to make kids understand about health and diabetes.
Does anybody know what diabetes is? Sugar diabetes?
Joe Garnie probably right now is our primary celebrity that we use. Like, everybody in the Norton Sound knows Joe Garnie, and they know that he's, you know, a musher and that he's promoting a traditional living. And so he's a great role model that we can utilize.
Question. These little ones don't let them get down to business, though, until Joe answers all their questions.
Second, third, fourth, fifth, seventh. It was like an apprentice.
Did your sled ever flip over?
Excuse me? Oh, listen, it flipped over on me at least 3 times on this run between Keltag and Unalakleet, this race. And I'm feeling the hurts everywhere.
What year did you start?
What year did I start? Boy, you know, my math is so bad, I'd have to go, I'm 52 years old. I got out of high school, I was probably 19. We'll have to do a little math work. So some mathematician would have to help me out.
What got you into dog mushing?
What got me into dog mushing? Well,
have you ever had hypothermia? Bring a gun? What's your wife's name? Are you gonna go dog mushing with you? Do you have any girl dogs in you?
Yes, I do.
What was the coldest temperature you've ever ran in? Did one of your dogs ever get sick when you were racing? Can I have your autograph? Have you ever passed Dee General?
Dee General, yes, I've passed her, and I've actually beat her a time or two. Yeah, now she's beat me in the last few years. I plan on remedying that.
He wants to give the healthy message out too. He thinks that traditional living is important. He thinks that having good nutrition is important. He thinks that staying active is important. And he's also into the sobriety. And so he likes to portray those messages to people, and we know that kids will listen to him. He's a great speaker. You can sit him down with a bunch of kids and they'll be tuned to him for at least a half hour, you know.
Does anybody know how many spoons of sugar in a soda pop?
Part of camp's mission is to instill the importance of drinking water instead of soda pop. As part of their Stop the Pop program, they use this visual aid to bring the point home.
We've gotten several villages around the region to actually stop selling sodas in their school. And that's, it's a huge problem here in the Norton Sound. You know, we see not only kids, but, you know, the adults as well, drinking cans and cans of soda throughout the day. And of course, not only is that bad for your oral hygiene, but it's pretty detrimental to your health too. You shouldn't be having so much, it's pretty much just like sugar water, you know, and that's something that we're trying to decrease in our region. It's just the amount of sugar that kids especially are intaking.
You know, I raise dogs is what I do, and the most important stage is when they're pups. This is the group that I feed the best because they're growing, no different than you are now. You're developing mentally and physically.
You will not develop mentally properly if you don't eat well enough. That's a given. If you live on soda pops that have this much sugar in it and chips and not eat all your dinner and your vegetables and fruits, you won't develop as good. You won't get as big and as strong as you should.
I love his analogy with his kids, with his dogs, where he talks about his puppies and having to raise them, and he compares kids to being puppies that are growing up to be these top athletes.
This is a snack. I got all my fish.
And he wants them to think about how they're feeding themselves and how they're supposed to be growing.
And the dogs get approximately 2 steaks to a snack on the trail on a little break. They don't have a choice in what they eat. You do.
If he's going to feed his dogs junk, how are they supposed to become top athletes when they're adults? And he says the same thing to the kids, or with the kids. He says that you guys need to be feeding yourselves the right things so that you can grow up to be the best that you can.
Well, let me get these 2 pieces in there. This right now, the age that you're at, growing and developing is the most important stage in your life for developing. Here I have reindeer meat. So you have to eat right in order to be able to study properly at school here.
Everybody here knows him, and they know that he lives in a village here, and that he knows what it's like to live here and to grow up here and to experience the same things that they've experienced, and so they can all relate to him.
I want 3 of these. I got no idea what's in there. I think it's even mine. Oh, it's our seal meat. I wish I could turn the hands of time back and get stressed to me how important education was going to be for me. There's nothing wrong with being healthy and educated. If you're not eating properly and just living on soda pop and chips and what have you, you can't even attend or function properly and acquire this education that's so important to you. So that's why we're here, to make you aware that you have choices and make a healthy choice.
Tununak, Alaska is located on Nelson Island, an island just off the main landmass in southwestern Alaska. Tununak has a population of about 375 people. It's a Yupik village. This area of Alaska has no trees, but the earth is rich in berries and other gifts, such as chaithbluk, or stinkweed.
Wani inuking nakulutushit abkawani jani imitawa mai awani sang sumni kan jaisu tai kasum da saya nanamni ilumun pitula pikan makut mai.
Martha Flynn is a resident of Tununak. She depends on medications from the earth, specifically from a plant called stinkweed. The Yupik people used to take care of themselves strictly by collecting plants and using what the earth gave them. Today, they still do it. Chaithbluk, or stinkweed, stands about 2 feet tall. It's found on the tundra and gets its name from its strong odor. The stinkweed is collected and put away for later use. When it's needed for medications, for example, arthritis or coughs or a sore throat or a body ache, the stinkweed is placed in a cooking pot with plenty of water to boil for at least 15 minutes. After the boiling water is cooled down, they pour in the stinkweed into the jars for medications. Martha only takes 2 tablespoons at a time, treating it like any other medication.
In the morning, and then before lunch, when I forgot it, even after lunch I did that. Then at dinner time, I have my dinner. Then just before go to bed, I just drink 2 tablespoons like that. Then sometimes we need my arthritis, when it's aching, like it feels me, makes me like sick, I have to take chai soup and then put it in a cloth, even a little bit with him. Then I put him somewhere on and tied him up.
Another traditional use for the medicinal stinkweed is to use it in the steam bath. The weed is bundled up, then whipped gently against the body, allowing the medicinal properties to permeate the hot air and into the skin. How does stinkweed taste? Well, remember, it's medicine. Some compare it to as strong as fresh lemon, but it does the job. Thank you, Roseanne, for your help on that story, and especially thank you, Martha Flynn from Tununak.
Well, Nick mostly taught me about this stuff, my father-in-law. But I've been around it all my life. When I was growing up with my grandparents, practically raised on beaver meat, they told me. Always, well, my grandparents and the one that pretty much showed me how to live a healthy lifestyle. You know, I had my bouts with alcohol and drugs and stuff, but not no more. I got my family stuff to worry about, and I'm gonna teach all my kids this stuff. All this pretty much, you know, trying to make a little bit of subsistence lifestyle. And watching my kids grow up, and you know, that's mostly part of it, is watching my kids grow up and being there for them when they need me. Plus, I have a wonderful wife that, you know, she's always there helping me too. So, I don't even think about touching alcohol and drugs anymore. Just, you know, never even crossed my mind. I got tired of living in the city. It's just, it was getting too hectic living in the city, raising my kids, and, you know, I didn't have to worry about them out here, you know. So, out here, they always got somebody watching them, and, you always know where they're at. And, plus, if they're, they don't have to stay in all the time. They can go out anytime they want, you know. Yeah, I lived in the city for about 4 years, and I just got tired of it. My wife is originally from here, and so we came out here and started living out here. I loved it out here when I first came out here. Maybe about 3 years ago, I came out here with my father-in-law. He invited me out here to go moose hunting. So ever since then, I just wanted to come back out here.
As he travels these rivers, he's following in the footsteps of his ancestors, except he's not leaving footprints. He's leaving snow machine tracks. He traveled around 20 miles this afternoon. Without the machine, that would take all day. Watching miles of snow-blanketed wilderness slip by, it's easy to realize why traditional camps rarely had more than a handful of people. It takes a lot of land to gather subsistence, and before the snow machine and motor skiff, traveling was slow and exhausting. It's now Friday afternoon, and the women of the village are hurrying home to prepare a potluck dinner for everyone at the town hall.
First you cook up your fish and you dry it up. I mean, you take all the moisture out of the water, squeeze all the water out of it, and then you have to bone it too, so there's no bone in there. Then you mix up your fish and your Crisco in a bowl until it's nice and fluffy, and then you put your sugar and your sugar in there, and then until it dissolves, and then you put your berries, whatever kind of berries you want in there. That's the way I make it. I mean, a lot of people make it different way. Lots of people make it other way, but I don't know how to do it this way. Yes.
Along with the berries, Anne Alexia stirs wellness into the agudek she's making.
Physical wellness, spiritual wellness, and it means that you don't have to. You don't have to be like a person who drinks to have fun. A wellness is something that to me, being well is being able to think correctly and just being yourself, not under influence of drugs or alcohol.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them going back to Tununak.
Oh, okay. Have you ever wished you could go back in time? These kids are about to do that. On a float plane. From Anchorage, it'll take only about an hour to get there.
The kids that have been exposed to it find it quite an experience. They always have a lot of fun, but they're just like, wow, it's so new. I've never done this before, and so it's learning for them.
They're headed to Nuchek Island in Prince William Sound. Kids from all over who have ties to the Chugach region are coming from villages, cities, and even the lower 48. For 1 week, they'll have a chance to experience life a lot like our ancestors did thousands of years ago.
I want to thank everybody for coming here, and as you know, this was one of the largest historic villages in Prince William Sound, Nuchek, and we're real lucky to be able to come to this place. And
John Johnson and a lot of other people have worked hard to create a new spirit camp here. From the new settlement, it's just a short hike to the old site of the first Russian Orthodox Church in Prince William Sound.
As people died, it was a great honor to be able to be buried right on the outside of the church. This tombstone we see right here, his name was Theodore Chimovisky. His nickname was Sunshine, and his father, Peter, was the last chief of this village. His family were record keepers that kept track of all the births, the deaths, all the villages all across Prince William Sound, and a lot of the early history. I mean, this guy was a walking history book, and he'd be so proud now if he was alive today to to see how Nuchek is not just a historical site that people read about in the book, but this place has come alive now, and it's a living village now.
Henry McCarka is one of the many elders who John has turned to for their knowledge.
His grandfather and my great-grandfather were brothers out here at this village. When I was growing up, boy, I was starving for knowledge, for my culture. I said, boy, I wanted just to learn as much as I could, and boy, I was just so lucky to have these guys show me what they knew around here.
Now, Henry and the others want to share what they know with us.
We're not going to be here forever, and if we could pass around some of the things that our folks taught us, that someday they'll be here doing the same.
Out here, the tide set the schedule.
Okay, you guys be careful, these rocks are a little bit slick.
When the tide's out, we take the kids out to go after the gumboots by darkies.
Here we go.
That's a big one.
You have to know what to look for, the little black thing that sticks to the rock, and they're in crevices.
And here's the part you'll be able to eat all this meat here. Okay, anybody find any more? Right here. Okay. All right, everybody taking a good look here? You see these? They stick right to, and the trick is with these guys, as soon as you touch them, they'll really suck on real tight and they're hard to get off, so you got to surprise them. So sneak up to them quick, pry them right off. See that? And this is all good stuff. Here's another one here. Oops. Maybe Lydia, you can teach these guys the Lutic name for the Badarki. Can you guys say that? Okidak? Okidak?
So all of us that are here, the elders, that is our main goal is to teach them that they can live off the land with its abundance.
These beaches don't change much. The rocks might get a little smoother, but we could be easily 5,000 years ago and sitting on the same beach, relaxing, enjoying the beautiful hot rays of the sun, or seeing where you can pick seagull eggs, seeing where all the fish go and seals come out. They don't change much over time. Okay, anybody know where we're going?
At high tide, it's time to head out onto the sea.
People located in these kind of areas, there was protection. This is an inner lagoon here. Protection from the storms is real rich in resources. Plenty of salmon, sea lions, seals, all kinds of fish. And it's just a real rich area. The base of this mountain here, all this water, this is where we get our fresh water for the camp, and everybody says, where do you get your water? And if you knew the native place names, the Lutic names, it translates as the place to get water. And let's go around the corner, shall we?
Okay.
Our ancestors would paddle to the rocks on the outer edge of the island in kayaks, or badarkas as they were called, which were covered with sealskins. This was, and still is, a great place to get eggs.
What time of year do people usually get eggs?
Oh, when they first start nesting, like in May.
May?
Yeah.
Be careful there.
The land is also rich here. By late summer, the forests will be full of berries. And up by the cliffs,
Look at how pretty. Oh.
where there are some big meadows, you can find plants you can actually use for medicine.
Here's some of the plants here. Pretty neat, huh?
Alex Moonen, an elder from Port Graham, knows what to look for.
It's like aspirin, Tylenol.
And what's the name?
Something like an aspirin or what? That's what they're taking when you have a schizophrenia. You eat it like the way you're taking that baby aspirin.
How much would you eat?
Just a little bit, not too much.
Couple.
You're going to burn your stomach if you eat too much.
Too much, huh? And all of a sudden your headaches will go away.
Alex is also the camp comedian.
How about this plant here, Alex? One of any use?
That's only flower.
There is so much to do here and so much to learn. The days go by really quickly. Jim Miller is helping kids learn how to carve paddles.
This paddle design is from Henry McCarka's uncle, I believe it was. Kind of pointy to slide into the water quietly.
Over in the wood shop,
This right here is the hat, my first hat that I made.
Edgar Otis is teaching kids how to make bentwood hats.
This is the way my wood comes. I have them cut this size, and then I cut this pattern out. I have a pattern, and I stick it on here, and we cut it off, and it looks like this when it comes out. And then what we usually do, we scrape down, and you keep going, and you follow the grain of the wood. I carve down halfway. I go halfway all the way around to the bottom and everything, and then the last couple of days it takes for sanding. It takes 2 days usually to get this far.
The older kids have already been working on their hats for days.
And I think working with the kids is the best thing in the world. Just to see that look and that smile in their eyes when they succeed and do something is a natural high. It beats anything. It's just great.
Beading is another traditional art that a lot of kids are learning to do well. For Tony Stevens, a 15-year-old from Oregon, there's even more to all this than just making something that looks neat.
It kind of stimulates the ancestral clicks in my brain. So it's kind of like you get that sense of being something special, you know.
Face me, guys, face me. Make your arms length, put your hats on.
Lydia Robart Moonen teaches dance, one of the most popular classes here.
One more time, new gentlemen. Loud.
The enthusiasm is there, and they want to learn more, and they want the translation of each song.
This song has as much meaning today as it did for our ancestors.
Nuchek in Nuchek, here we come, us Aleut people. We're going to dance, we're going to sing, we're going to have a whole bunch of fun.
Wankuda, Nuchek, louder. Wankuda, Nuchek. Okay, that's good. We'll practice on bashful eyes tomorrow.
Lydia also teaches our native language, Suxtun.
Now the sound of your sound, say 5 consonants. Say it with me. Pa. Ta. Ta. Cha. Ka. Now say it fast. Okay. Say, okay, you know how you could do it? Go back here on the beach here, or when it's flat ground, you take a flat rock and go. Okay? P, T, C, K, Q. The stop signs, the Aleut language. Okay? The consonants.
A lot of our parents never had a chance to learn the language when they were growing up. Lydia not only makes it fun, her lessons are practical as well.
Now the subsistence, think of an animal, what you like to eat in Nuchek. Seal, how do you say seal?
You would have to get a big heavy one.
The timing of Lydia's lesson is perfect. There's going to be munyak for dinner tonight.
1, 2, 3. Who wants to come up and give it a try? Who's never tried this before? Roll your sleeves up, step right up.
In the villages, seal is still an important source of food. By tradition, the elders are the first to get their share. Alex always goes for a flipper.
See, we don't throw nothing away when we get seal.
Every part is used for something. The intestines are cleaned real well.
I learned how to do this when I was about 8 years old.
And then they're braided. A lot of elders like that baked with a strip of meat and fat inside.
How's it going over there?
The blubber is also used in a lot of different ways.
How come you cut them like that?
This is for the seal oil.
Donya Komkov was raised in the village of Chiniga until she was 14 and learned a lot about subsistence. But there's still a lot more she wants to learn from her grandmother Mary.
Done it just the way my mom used to. I used to see her cut up the fat like this. The thinner or the smaller pieces you make, the faster you go at making the oil.
Donya is in college now. And although subsistence is not an everyday part of her life, it's still important to her.
Today it's you're hungry, go to McDonald's, go to Burger King, go to Taco Bell. Back in the day they didn't have that, and they went out and subsistence hunted for what the land offered, and it's really important for the younger generation to know that it's there and that they can eat it, and to for them to actually go out and catch it is all the more meaningful in it, because you know they're going to go back home. All these kids are going to go back home, and they're not going to forget about what happened.
Back at camp, it's almost dinner time. The elders have laid out a table of snacks to sample.
Okay, who's going to tell us what all the names of all these things are here? Go ahead. Lydia, start at one end.
Balit, sikyat, damo, honey.
Honey. The big picture on subsistence is not just the food in your belly, it's a connection. There's so many aspects to it. It's a spiritual part, it's a cultural part, you have to, community part, it's sharing.
Come and try some.
It's been a busy week, packed with a lot of good how-to lessons. But no matter where these kids call home, they'll be taking back the deeper lessons they've learned that can enrich their everyday lives.
Remember to be strong and be yourself. And with this, I want to sing Kuya Nanana. So join me. Arms up. It's a subsistence song. Thank you, Ancestry, for taking care of us. Thank you, Ancestry.
Subsistence is a spiritual thing to it, and it's deep inside you and all around you. Boy, it brings great pride to have my own children come out here and learn what's going on, and seeing all these other kids, they just light up. You see the difference. They take on responsibilities, they take on pride, and that's something you can't pick up and buy at a store. You have to work on it. We're touching them, we're reaching them, and that's why we're continuing. We're keeping this 5,000 years of tradition, pushing it forward.
Get your partner to go to score that.